Hey everybody, I'm Crow. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We beat Legends Alan. Oh god. I'm so glad that I blew that out of proportions. I thought that was going to be awful. I thought it was actually going to take 4 hours, but it only took 1. So, we've cleared all of the DLCs and we're back to talk to Vendrick one last time.
One day fire will fade, and dark will become a curse. Men will be free from death, left to wander eternally. Dark will again be ours, and in our true shape, we can bury the false legends of yore. Only, is this our only choice? Seeker of fire, coveter of the throne. Seek strength. The rest will follow.
The ashen mist fades. So what basically happened, which only really matters if you did the DLCs, heat radiates from the ancient crowns, is whilst wearing these crowns, any of them, including Vendrick's, I believe. That's Vendrick's crown, Crown of the Sunken King from the first DLC, Crown of the Old Iron King from the second DLC, and Crown of the Ivory King from the third DLC. I feel like this one looks the best. Whilst wearing this, you will not hollow when you die. It's basically like wearing a ring of soul protection or life protection, whatever. It's like half of the effect. You'll still lose your souls, but you will never hollow. So you'll never have to use another humanity ever again. Unless it's for something else. Assuming you're wearing the crown. Which we will be. Because we're basically just running up to end the game now. We have fought every boss, done every DLC. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we got them all. I was just double checking. So now, we are going to go back to Drang Lake Castle, to the King's Gate, to finish what we started. The journey that we don't really know why we went on it. Drang Lake Castle. I'm gonna put on that King's Ring. I would very much appreciate not getting invaded. Where... there it is. Okay, I know that one's live. Jog ahead. Yeah, I would definitely say that that's a jog ahead. I don't know, I just like the way this crown looks. The Sunken King one's actually not bad either. Or Vendrick's, I suppose. Okay, like, seriously? The Old Iron King one, I have no idea what he was thinking. I mean, if we were a dwarf or something, I think this hat would, or this crown would look cool on a dwarf. I don't know, it's so big and bulky. I mean, I know the Old Iron King, like, everything there is big and bulky because it shows his power or whatever, but... I don't know.
My journey is already complete. My name is Shanalot. The dragon gave me this name, for I was born with none. I was born of dragons, contrived by men. By ones who would cozen fate herself. They are the ones who created me. But they failed. I did not come out as intended. Fate would not be bested, and men were cursed once again. If you proceed, Nashandra will come after you, knowing that you will take the throne and link the fire. She covets the first flame and the great soul. Put Nashandra to rest,
It's kind of curious that she helps us so, even all the way up to the end, especially considering that I killed the ancient dragon, which I assumed was the dragon that she was working under, or something. I don't know. The ancient dragon seemed to be the authority there. It was at the very pinnacle of where we were going. Anyway, up here, in this underground crucible, which I think is supposed to look like the kiln of the first flame or something, we get to the end. Actually gonna switch our rings out a bit. Hey, and there's 3 summons that we could use here. Summons only last for 2 fights, though. I'm going to take off this stuff, and we're going to go back to the imported trousers and the jester's gloves. Why? Because this is how we were almost the entire game. I just got the astrologist robes at the end because I thought they looked cool. But, I don't know, considering, especially at least in the trousers. Or you know what? No, we should do it as we started. I don't need these gloves. We're gonna wear the crown because we're fancy and we did all that DLC stuff. And I didn't do all that DLC stuff to not wear the crown that I got. Oh, I don't need this either. Let's use the lightning one first. Lightning one sounds good. Maybe next time we'll switch this. Yeah, we'll switch this out for the curse bite ring or something. We could get pretty high resistance. Anyhoodle. Hunter's black bow, crown, imported trousers. Let's do this. And this is why we're doing the lightning ring. We first fight the Throne Watcher and Defender. I'm not sure why they're here, but I do know that they need to die. Oh, I think she has less health. Or maybe she's just taking more damage? I don't know. I'm getting beat up. This is, however, like the Romeo and Juliet fight in Tarzan. Or Romeo and Julianne, or whatever it was. Yeah, that came out first. Okay, I was like, it's just like that thing that might have come out afterwards. No, that was definitely before. Burning Crusade. Ah! Now all I can think about is World of Warcraft. I want you to get low. And then I want to kill your friend. He's definitely going to be harder to take down. Her shield is worse, too. Should I just take her down? I don't know how long it takes him to heal her. Alright. I'm going to switch some damage onto him. Because he's a little too high, I think. I'm gonna die. Oh no, she backed up. Cool. If she went all in on that, the results would have been disastrous. You know what? I'm just gonna take her out. I don't think he full heals her. If he does, that's stupid. As a single fight, he's not bad. Or one-on-one, I mean. He's probably going to heal her. Hurting him is harder than it is to hurt her. So you go ahead, you bring her back. It doesn't matter to me. Because you just took a whole heck of a lot of damage. Did he lose his shield? Where's his shield? Do they lose their shield when they bring someone back to life? That would be really cool if that's... Whoa, he's walking weird. Are you drunk? That's really cool if it's true. No, get out of the way. I don't want to kill him yet. Okay. Because seeing how low I didn't get him... Yeah. No! No! Wow. I was just testing out the crown. See, when we come back and we're still, like, human. We're still human, right? Old Radiant Life Gem? Yeah, see, look, we're not even hollowed because we have the crown on. Test complete. I actually died. Again. After coming back and grabbing my souls. I have officially died more to the Throne Watcher and the Throne Defender than I did to Legends Allen. I mean, of the bosses here, they're definitely the hardest one here, but still. I'm just gonna take you down, dude. Oh my god. Why are you not using Estus? Wow, they almost got me again. Okay, he stood back up and then went down. They died. Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna switch this up for a Curse Spot Ring. And a Ring of Resistance. Why not? Nah, I don't need a feather. But what? We've just fought boss.
You have proven yourself to me. Now, be one with the dark.
That's Nishandra. She's the final boss. I'm garbage at hiding things, so I probably already ruined that if there was actually... If some of you actually haven't seen the end of this. I assume that pretty much everybody that's seen it and was going to play it basically has already. But aside from that laser doing bunches of damage, which I could put resistance rings on and stuff to do it to take a lot less. These pool things can curse you if you get too close. Oh, that was the sweep. You know, honestly, I think I'd rather have the resistance. Yeah, I'm gonna get at least the... Oh, I was already wearing that. No, a dark ring. That's what I want, a dark ring. She has a scythe. She does curse attacks. She puts those pools up, and they curse you, which doesn't kill you in this game. It just gives you the effects of having died, basically. So you lose 10% of your max health. It hollows you, basically. Which could be annoying, I guess, but... Oh, are we immune to hollowing with this crown? There's no way I have 1,000 resist. You know what? I didn't even think about that. The crown stops us from hollowing whenever we die. So maybe we can't hollow? Yep. Okay, so the hollow skin, which I didn't know existed, stops you from being cursed. And any of the crowns after you're done with the DLCs stop you from being cursed. I guess curse just isn't really a big thing. Oh, that's right. Instead of being cursed, you take damage. That way, it's still a mechanic. Nishandra, no! And... Okay, I'm gonna take that, and then I'm gonna switch this out for magic.
Monarchs have come and gone. One drowned in poison, another succumbed to flame. Still another slumbers in the realm of ice. Not one of them stood here as you do now. You, conqueror of adversities. Give us your answer.
Yep, this mustache, this face, this was what was conqueror of all adversities. And this is Aldia, the actual hidden boss of finalness. I say hidden because you can actually screw this up. If you say one of the wrong answers at any one of the times that you're talking to Aldia, it will actually stop you from getting this final boss. If Aldia's like, do you want something more, or are you fine with just believing a lie? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? And then he's just like, oh, okay, then you're not worth my time. And then Nishandra's the final boss, as usual. These you have to run from. Ow. Oh, that's right, we take drastically less fire damage. Ah, resistances, how nice you are. Aldia has a massive shield in the form of that fire. Run! Oh, well, that was hardly fair. Oh, well. See, we're hitting him for 58. Because of the 2 boss fights beforehand, we're actually running pretty low on Estus. Right when Aldia appears is when you want to get him. But he explodes around, so it's less melee friendly. But if you're ranged, it doesn't really matter. Ultra Greatsword wrecks this guy, though. Nope. I don't believe this can loop all the way back around. It's not a particularly hard boss fight, especially for range. This is like really not that bad if you're ranged. Maybe pyromancers would have problems or something? Oh, he's charging it up. Vulnerable for the whole charge. Oh, that actually still did a massive amount of damage. Would that have one-shot me? We have crazy fire resist. Oh no, wait, I'm not wearing the armor. Our fire resist isn't that crazy. It's just pretty decent. We lost quite a bit of fire resist by not wearing that armor. I call it armor. It's basically just like a... what the hell are those things called? It's basically pajamas. That's why I like wearing them, because they look super comfy. But I guess pajamas have a lot more protection than nothing. I guess I don't really know if a wizard hat is pajamas, but every other part of it looks silky and soft. Nope. That's really all there is to Aldia. There's not much else to say. But Aldia is just a scholar now. Of the first sin is no longer. Vendrick's brother. For whatever reason. I kind of like the idea that there's more than 2 choices, and that choosing the dark option doesn't just mean that you embrace the dark, maybe that you try other things. I don't know, just the idea of doing all of this great stuff and then dying to prolong the inevitable. I always thought that the Link to Fire ending was kind of dumb. I mean, I can appreciate it for what it is and stuff, but... Oh, you're doing the fire stuff? I can appreciate what it does for the world, but if it's going to happen eventually, I think it would be better to try and take control of the situation and actually do something about it.
I lost everything and remain here patiently. The throne will certainly receive you, but the question remains: would you tell me? Light, dark, or something else entirely?
I would like something else entirely, honestly. But I think dark is the second best way to go.
There is no path. Beyond the scope of life, beyond the reach of dawn. What could possibly await us? and yet receding insatiably. Such is our fate.
And so ends what is, I believe, my favorite Dark Souls game. You just take this controller rough. I know there probably aren't a ton of people that think that, but and truthfully, I don't know that 3's really gotten a fair chance from me. I've only played through that first time that I played through on my first recording session on YouTube, whatever, Mobob. But having played through that and thinking of this, I mean, obviously there's a difference. A lot of people would probably say that Dark Souls 1 is their favorite. But you kind of have to think of where people came in there. I actually did play Demon Souls before Dark Souls came out. I didn't own it. But I played it over at my friend's house. And I thought that that game was freaking awesome. Then Dark Souls came out, and it was an open world version of that. Everything that I wanted, and the bosses were super cool. Four Kings were the bane of my existence. God, did I hate that fight. Once I found out about that whole Havel's Iron Flesh thing, you better believe I exploited that every time I could. I had so many problems with them, but the game, it had an amazing feeling. But I don't think it's fair to compare what it's like to experience something for the first time to what you felt when you played the other games. Because it was brand new at that time. I mean, Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 have got different bosses, story that are loosely connected and whatnot. But it's fighting bosses with the same mechanics pretty much. The only difference is whether enemies stagger their attacks or how poise works or whatever. It's just like some of the finer details, the iframes and rolling and numbers and stuff. But I don't know. Out of all the ones that I've played, I like those a lot. If we had skipped Dark Lurker and Leaden Zalin, I probably would have been a lot more happy and cheerful. I know, especially towards the end of the game, once we got into the DLCs, I probably sounded a lot more complainy about things, though I wasn't trying to. I just get really complainy really easily, especially when I was thinking about Leaden Zalin. I was dreading that. But then we ended up two-shotting it, which is what I really, really wanted. I was like, oh my god, maybe if I hype this up, it'll work like Dark Lurker and Ancient Dragon and all of the other things that I hyped up, and then it did. It still took me like an hour to get that boss dead, and the first time we tried it, I died in a minute and 10 seconds, I think. I was like, hey everybody, I'm Crow. Ah, I died. And then the second time we got him, which was sweet, but I feel like Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin is a lot better than Dark Souls 2. And I know that my friends as well haven't actually played, or at least not all of them, have played Dark Souls 2, like the Scholar of the First Sin edition. And they played 2 and they thought that it wasn't that great. I feel like if Dark Souls, I feel like if Scholar of the First Sin was released as the original version, it would have come off a lot better. I'm not saying that the game's perfect by any means. None of the Soul games are perfect. No game is perfect, because what would be perfect is different from person to person. But I felt the bosses were cool. I felt adaptability most of the time felt really good once you got to 40. I felt like the iframes and stuff were fair. Most of the time. There are exceptions and weird hitboxes, like the rapier guy that killed me off camera. It had like the length of 2 rapiers. I'm probably going to play Dark Souls 3 again, on my own time, obviously, to try and make sure that this is how I feel. But I don't know, I've done a two-hander in each of the other builds, or in each of the other games, and it's felt great in all of them. I got really off track. I felt like I was going against something, and I was hitting it really hard there, and then I was just like, oh, and other stuff. Oh, right, we fought Leaden Zalin. But I think they're all good games. It's kind of like the experience that people have. I don't want to keep relating everything to World of Warcraft, but like, I played World of Warcraft pretty much from the beginning. I found out about it on my dad's birthday, and he bought it for both of us back when I was like 13 or something. And like 2 months and 3 weeks or something after World of Warcraft first came out, I started playing in Vanilla WoW. Did I almost fail grades because of that game? But the feeling that I got when playing that game was absolutely amazing. I'd never experienced anything like that. Everything was wonder. Just the tiniest, dumbest little stuff. I was like, it felt like a world. It was so new, and just, I couldn't... You don't feel that very often. Because you can't feel that from a series. And now it's like Legion came out. But even though a lot of people are saying that it's the best expansion for that game, it's just been the same mostly. I mean, I know that it's just a lot better. I will never feel that again from an MMO, because that was my first MMO. And I feel like Dark Souls does the same. Because Dark Souls 1 came in where it did, the feeling of, like, wonder of doing it the first time, I mean, like, we've even recently played Dark Souls 1 on the channel. And I still love the game. I like all of them. But what I felt the first time I played Dark Souls, I'm not going to have again. Even if I'm playing that same Dark Souls. I feel like the rolls and, like, the iframes and stuff on Dark Souls 1 are a lot less fluid, I guess? Because it's entirely based on your carry weight. I feel like it's more forgiving in 2. And, like, poise is more of a thing in 1. Because we got through pretty well without any poise at all, I don't think. Aside from what we got from adaptability. In Dark Souls 1, oof. I just think of all the times that I'm like, I'm swinging an ultra great sword, and then they poke me with a dagger, and it's just like, curse your fast attacks. Completely shut down. I don't know. I'm glad that we got through all of them. We now have all 3 of the Dark Souls on the channel. Though the third one was awful. And I feel pretty complete with it. I don't have a capture card, or know how to use a capture card, or have the PlayStation required, I don't think, or the games to play Demon's Souls or Bloodborne. But as far as the trilogy is concerned, we're pretty done with it. Except for Ring City, I guess, but my computer can't handle that for some reason. So maybe someday in the future we'll come back just to finish that one DLC. Anyhoodle, I got super rambly there, and just basically ended up talking about nothing at the end of it. I'll still leave the majority of that in, but... yeah. We're back at Majula. I do believe we have beat every boss. We did it bow only. If I needed to in the beginning of the game, we hit them with a bow. I didn't even use fire bombs against enemies or anything. It was completely bow only. And we did not ever enchant the Hunter's Black Bow. Or use an... aw, crap. I wanted to use the sea bow. I was thinking about doing that in between episodes, but I guess I forgot whenever I went to load this back up again. I've done, like, the whole last load of stuff since before Ludden Zalin. Basically, most of Ilium Lois up until now has been, like, one continuous session. I was like, we're gonna use the sea bow. You know what? We're gonna use the sea bow. I'm gonna go back to the very beginning, to the things betwixt. I was like, I wanted to use it. I wanted to use it, but we got the Hunter's Black Bow before I got it maxed out, and because we were doing a dex build over a strength build, the just dex bow ended up being better. But I have to kill something with this. No, I'm not killing the old ladies. I know what you were thinking. I am at least going to use this to kill the first quote-unquote tough enemy in the game. If my dogs will shut up for a minute. This is how I want to end it. Yeah! See, we can only shoot 3 times. Does more damage, though. We used the sea bow. Everything is completely resolved. A stone ring. It was a crazy ride with a lot of rambling and not making any sense, even up to the very last minute. But all the same, I appreciate you guys watching it. So thanks for hanging out. Every time I say something that isn't part of my intro, or my outro, I feel like, you know what? I hope you guys liked it. Later, everybody.